And it's funny. Good morning to you, my son, and to Shay, who is affectionately.
Good morning. Good morning, Nudelberg. Daily Huddle. Good morning to everybody rolling in with us this morning. It's a great Tuesday. Excited to be closing out the month of January today and ready to move on to February. Got some great stuff coming in the next. So I'm ready to go.
Yeah, great. I mean, Shay and I spent the day yesterday preparing next week 3 speaking gigs, man. So starting off the year very brisk. Did Orlando last week. We'll do Bluffton, South Carolina at a really cool resort. Then we'll do Vegas, and then I'm back here speaking at Grand Oaks, which is I love it there.
Which is so Jake, small world. You know, Jake went to the leadership conference yesterday with Joy Linsky. He runs into Kiara, who lives down the street from me. Kiara works for Coral Ridge that will be at that Grand Oaks event.
Correct.
So like the 6 degrees of Nudelberg is very crazy.
And apparently they are very excited to see me. So you can fool them all of the time.
You better believe I
you know, this is great. And I wanted you could bring those pictures back up, Shay. You know, he got an audible, boom. You couldn't go. Joy invited you. You couldn't go. Was passed over to, hey, Jake, you want to go? He rearranged his day because we are committed to 3 L's, lifelong learning. And make sure to be here tomorrow because I saw him compiling the notes from all of the speakers. John Maxwell had a couple of nuggets, just some great speakers, some great content. And tomorrow he's going to share some insight with that. So do not miss Jake's takeaway tomorrow.
Unfortunately, I will miss Jake's takeaway tomorrow because I will be at the Broward workshop with a bunch of great folk bright and early at 7:30 in the morning. They get rocking and rolling early, so unfortunately I'll miss it, but I'll catch the replay.
Did you clear that with the home office is what I want to not see that on the calendar.
Yeah, sure, huh?
Yeah, whatever you say. So exciting stuff. Know lots of people are talking about Super Bowl. Just for shits and giggles, Super Bowl's in Phoenix. Same time as the Waste Management Golf Tournament. And if you know anything about golf, that event is a shit show. It's not really a golf event.
That's going to be an unbelievable party week. Wow.
So go try and get a hotel room in that town.
For the conspiracy theorists out there, do you know what the name of that stadium is?
I do not.
It's the State Farm Stadium.
Oh my God.
State Farm has their name on that building. Who happens to be a quarterback in the Super Bowl this year, who is also a spokesperson for State Farm, would be Patrick Mahomes.
The guy who did that deal,
I don't know, maybe so.
Did that deal is sitting back going, I told you.
Right.
Ding, ding, ding. Love it, right? Just
it'll be chock full of content for them that week.
Jake is right, man. They could actually blow that place up. Jonathan Aarons gets it right. The 17th hole at that tournament is legendary. It's basically Animal House, but they allow it to happen. So anyway, got a cool show. Got lots of questions, lots of stuff going on. Shay, how do we do this every morning?
Wake up.
Yeah.
Wake up, everybody. No more sleeping in bed.
there's so many smiles in that video. It is.
If you don't smile from watching that video, you should turn off the screen and you should
This
move
is,
on to
you know,
another show.
and this is why people keep coming back, because we keep delivering, we keep having fun. So I want to go this. You posted something this morning, which I want to bring up. But Shay, give me the things that make you go,
Things that make you things that make you go things that make you
So this is fascinating. So wait a minute. Who sings that? What group?
I don't know. Is it like the Sound Machine or something? Who is it?
CC Music Factory.
CC Music Factory. I knew it was Sound Machine. I knew it was something like that.
Yeah. So you hit it on the head. We get marketed to by everybody who thinks they're going to make our business better. They know nothing about us, know nothing about what we do, what our secret sauce is, yet they're coming in with, oh, I noticed you, or, you know, so
I would love for Shay to, if you could pull the picture that I used, because like it's become common practice now for people to send a note, right? Like I think most people, even though not everybody does, most people at least like have it in their brain that they're supposed to send a note when they send a connection.
That's true. Most of what I get has no note. When it gets a note, the note is embarrassing.
Well, so that to me is like, okay, so you chose to send a note, but the note says nothing. Like, I noticed you here on LinkedIn, thought it would be a good idea to connect. Like, that means nothing. Hi, Mark. I saw we had some mutual connections and I thought I'd reach out. I hope that's okay. Oh, it's not okay.
Here's the thing, dude. It's impossible not to have mutual connections. I mean, it's like,
right. Like, okay, cool. And it's cool. We have mutual connections, but what does that mean? Are some of my really good friends your really good friends, or who of the mutual connections? Like, we could have 55 of mutual connections. Who are they? What relevance does it have? But here's the thing that moves on to the reason that I don't even respond to these people or I immediately hit the X. I can see in their tagline, course creators / coaches get all the clients they want with YouTube, and I don't need to see the rest. I know, I'm out. I know why you're approaching me. Right. You think that I need your help on YouTube? Maybe I do need your help on YouTube. But because you did absolutely nothing to draw any kind of connection between the two of us, oh, by the way, if you think you're the only one in this space doing what you do, look at the very next connection request that I get, which is from somebody who helps executive coaches and consultants, puts their prospecting into overdrive. It's all the same. You guys are all of these pitches are the exact same. They're doing it the exact same way.
So the phenomenon of people jumping in your face, and you know, like I love when they jump in my world and go, "You have a very impressive resume. Have you ever thought about owning your own business?"
Right, your own franchise. I love that. I love that.
I never thought about it. It just never crossed my mind. So the reason why it was so timely is that I get solicited regularly, not on LinkedIn, just through emails. I don't know how they're getting my email, but Shay, I don't know if you did a graphic for this with the three topics of this newsletter. I won't mention names. Shay, did you do any graphic for it or no?
I can tell you this, that we never got a zip in the email yesterday.
Which one?
You never got, there was no zip.
Oh, okay.
So the one that things make you go, no.
How to create memorable elevator statement.
This was the topics, okay? Number one, how to create a memorable elevator statement.
Right.
If you're waiting to get on an elevator with somebody, you already lost. It's fucking 40 years ago, dude. That's not how people do it anymore, man. It's like, seriously, I'm using this. I'm putting this in my presentation to the 2 retreats I'm doing next week because seriously, oh, you know what? I'm going to spend time polishing my elevator statement so that I can stand there and wait for that person to get on the elevator. You know, we're just living in a different world. Number 2, even better, how to get people to pick up the phone when cold calling.
Right. Sure.
What?
Right.
You really seriously want me to do, you know, I sent another one to Shay that they have the perfect cold calling script. And this was great because Dale Dupree commented on it. And Dale's got a shtick. He's got a thing, but not pure cold calling. And this guy basically deceives you into thinking that you know each other. On the
Right.
phone.
Right.
Like,
Unbelievable. Like
you're
that's the way you
sweating a
want to
lot.
start out with a lie with somebody. Well, the
Great.
other thing to me is like
Thank you for reaching out to me.
that line itself, how to get people to pick up the phone when cold calling. You're deceiving somebody into thinking that they have control over something that they have no control over. It doesn't matter. You can't make somebody do anything. So just that line in itself is deceiving because you cannot force somebody to pick up the phone. It's impossible.
So this is great, man. I'm about to get on the
Right. Yeah, Jonathan Aaron.
Let me get out my notes. Okay, we're on an elevator.
Right. Like let me get my bullet points
This
out
is-
so that I'm ready
this
just in
is-
case I have the opportunity to pitch somebody.
This is the root of what is wrong with all of the training, because I see this everywhere.
Right.
Prospecting stinks. What?
Right.
Wait a minute.
Right.
But it doesn't have to be something you hate.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hate it. It's my favorite part. You know
Right.
why? Because I'm not going in there fooling people and tricking them and trying to sell them shit. Prospecting means, so first of all, the word I hate, because in my presentations, I have the guy with the glove.
So
Oh, yes, we're ready. Are you ready to be prospected?
this has been my new point of conversation and entering into our modern business development philosophy or whatever is most people think that business development and sales are the same thing. And they're not. They're really not. Like they're totally different aspects to how to grow revenue and how to build business, but they're two completely different things. Building rapport, building trust, building likability, and earning the opportunity to figure out whether or not you can help somebody with their business is different than being in the cycle of how do I present my information to you in a way that makes it valuable? How do I make my solution fit what your problem is? How do I assess whether or not you have a problem that I can actually solve? That's all sales tactics. Everything prior to that is business development, and they're two completely different educations, yet we assume that business development is sales, and we confuse the two all the time.
Yeah, so the whole conversation is fascinating to me. We talk about modernizing it and all that kind of stuff. But the reality is, if you wake up with intent to take somebody's money,
right?
That's what we were taught. They have my money in their pocket. I'm going to get it. Well, so here's the craziest part. All of the people who are doing this receive the same stuff from other people. Don't they say, so I ask people, I go, well, let me ask you a question. This is how I start. Like when I speak in front of a big group, do you know when you're being sold?
Right.
And everybody's like, yeah. I go, do you like it? No. Then why is it $1 billion category to teach people how to do it?
Well, I did the same thing. So when I was with the drip group on Friday, I said, how many of you guys answer the phone when it's a number you don't know? And most of them go, no. There were two people in the room that were like, I do. I'm in real estate. I never know when it's a number, so I have to answer it. I said, okay, great. When you find out it's a cold call, when you answer it, what do? Oh, I hang up immediately. So let me get this straight. Everybody in this room does everything in their power to avoid a cold call, yet all of you then turn around and try to cold call everybody else to create new business.
Crazy.
This is the most insane thing I've ever heard in my life.
I mean, even the cold emails I get. Hi, I've been trying to get you and you haven't answered, but I'd like to come by, and this Sherry Cedar will get a kick out of it. I'd like to come by and clean your office, see if we can clean your office. Dude, I haven't had an office in 10 years. Man.
Oh, I deleted it. So I've been getting hammered through text message now. Cold text message.
Crazy.
And I got the end of one yesterday that said, this must be bothering you. And this was like their 7th text message that they sent to me. And I was like, what gives you that idea? Like, I haven't answered any of your 6 previous text messages. What makes you think I'm going to answer you now that you say, oh, I think this bothers you?
Right. Well, or, they start out I hate to bother you.
Mm-hmm.
Then don't.
Right. Stop doing it.
What do you think me asking about something about you personally, like legitimately back in the day, when everybody was cold calling, I would reach out to somebody and say, wow, what a fascinating story, like Wayne Huizinga. And I said to him, I'm just enamored with what you've done. Who would have ever thought that you could own the garbage business and be what you've done? I go, if you're ever willing to spend 15 minutes with me sharing your story, I'm a taker. Boom. Here's my secretary, make a meeting. Boom.
Yep.
You know what? I had nothing to do with selling. Now, did I ultimately build a relationship with him and sell him? You bet your ass I did.
Right.
You know,
But you earned the right to do that.
Earned the right to do that.
Right.
And I think it opened up, the conversation opened up and said, hey, like, I like you. I'm willing to listen to more of how you think and what you do. So here's the other part of it, is that how you receive it. I'm busy as hell. Boom, inbound LinkedIn thing, which is goof, delete. It's never been easier to delete and pass it on. So today's motivational music is fantastic. It's so on par. And then we're going to dive in to what successful people do that unsuccessful people won't. Bang, give me Nickelback.
If everyone cared and nobody cried, if everyone loved and nobody lied, if everyone shared and swallowed their pride, then we'd see the day when nobody died. And I'm singing, amen, I'm alive, amen, and in the air, the fireflies are only light in paradise. We show the world they were wrong and teach them all to sing along. Sing it, amen, I'm alive, sing it, amen, I am alive.
I love it. Nickelback.
I love
great.
what Jake says. You the light. So you know what? I got off on this thing with Nickelback yesterday. Listened to it all day. Changed my whole day. Photograph. I mean, just
so before you move on, I want to touch on Jay's comment, because Jay says it's a numbers game that must work.
Mark. I was going to go back to shut the other stuff. Talk about Jay's comment.
Right. So Jay says it's a numbers game that must work for someone or they wouldn't be doing it. And I wholeheartedly believe this, having studied the sales game now, that there are two different kinds of salespeople. There are people that are just willing to outwork the bullshit and will do the most inefficient, ineffective work, which is cold calling, and they'll just do enough of it to get by, and they just don't care. As opposed to the relationship developers that end up having a successful career based on the networks and the relationships that they build. That doesn't matter what company they're in, what they represent. They will always be successful because they built the network the right way. So for Jay, what you're saying is true. It is a numbers game. But inside of that number is so much waste and so much inefficiency and so much burnout and so much turnover that I would never choose to run my organization that way.
Why do the numbers work? Because they're willing to bring a ton of people in, blow 85% of them out, start again. So it's really that early. You know, you want to know why, you know, sales has a bad name, is because people are totally tragically demoralized by doing work that produces no results.
By the prospecting. Prospecting, but forget about sales. Like I had a conversation with a professor she works at Brown, and she teaches sales there. And and so I was super interested to hear what she taught, how she taught it, what it was. But it was all about selling. It was all about how to have a dialogue with people and represent a product or a service and present it in a way and move things through a selling process. She didn't talk anything about business development. And that's when it really clicked for me that nobody teaches business development. And organizations that say they do teach business development just teach scripts, cold calling, mass numbers. They don't teach relationship building. They don't understand how to do research, connect, and earn the right to move to business, which is way different. If you taught that up front, prospecting wouldn't be hard. You wouldn't have the burnout that you would have, and you would create far more successful salespeople than what you do in every other profession right now.
So here's where I think the rub is, and COVID exposed it like never before, hence why our business exploded. But the reality is sales leaders are the ones who need to lead the change.
Right.
They're people talk and they're on these panels. They go right back to cold calling and numbers and what did you do for me lately? And, pressure and pressure. It takes time to build a good book of relationships.
Yes.
I still do it every day. Took me my whole career, keeps happening, keep making it better, but there is no trust in the downline. So when leaders don't trust their people, and some with good reason, they really don't work. I mean, we had a case where the manager was looking at what the guy was doing and found out that in the afternoons he was coaching his kid's softball game. So trust is that, hey, I'm going to show you how to build relationships. It'll last a lifetime for you.
Right.
You never have to do it differently than this. Doesn't matter product, price, or service. It doesn't matter. It is a change of heart that says, and here's the difference. It used to be we're hunting logos. Oh, look at I won Bank of America or I won that logo. It's not logos. There's somebody in that seat at that logo that's making that decision or influencing that decision. That's where it always was. It just was, hi, I'm with IBM. Sure, right this way. Now it's like, I don't give a shit who you're with. Tell me about you,
Well, what's funny is
I don't care who you're with.
I'm building a strategy for Kim Opdyke and DyneTech, which is a part of Sandy Alexander. And their focus this year is on the growing quick serve restaurant market, right? And there's a huge list that got put out of all of the franchises that grew by location. Now, the numbskulls of the world will take that list and go, okay, who's this decision maker there? And just start cold emailing and cold calling and just trying to, hammer their way into the door. I'm going to work with her today on going, okay, give me the logo. Now let's go inside of that company. Let's figure out who we're first or second degree from. Who cares what part of the organization they're in? Who do we know that's inside there? Do we have a relationship? No, we don't. Great. Who are we close to that can either introduce us into there, or we don't have anybody close? What do we have in common with somebody in that building? Did we go to the same school? Did we live in the same place? What are the things that we can tie on to go try to build a relationship in there? Not go sell our services in there. How do we get a relationship in that door in order to hopefully at some point have the opportunity to help?
So first of all, I love hearing you speak because you're so spot on, and the fusion of your background with what I taught you is just unmatched. But, there's a story called the Trojan horse. How do you get in the building?
Right.
Get in the building and then work your way up. When I start talking to people about that, their eyes glaze over. I go, virtually get in the building. Right. Is there, tell me this, and this is the sum of the whole thing. In my entire career, there is never, ever a better way to get into an account than getting introduced to somebody, man.
Right.
It's like it's the easiest thing. Like, hey, would you have a conversation with Steve? Sure. Boom, done. So if you work, so when I started in LinkedIn, it was always about, I want to be 1 degree away from anybody I want to talk to. I want someone to reference me and say, yeah, this is a guy you want to have a conversation with. I told you the same thing. If you build it right, it never goes away. It is a foundational business of being out there, being connected, never sending something ever. Hey, I help, are you ready to hear how I can increase your sales?
Right. No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
It's just crazy, man. It's just that it is mind-boggling to me that we are post-pandemic. You would have thought that people learned that there's a better way, but they are creeping further and further back, which thank God, because the people we work with get better.
Right.
What percentage do they get better, Mark?
1%.
Every fucking day, man.
So this is a great conversation. If this struck a chord with you and you would like to learn more, you would like to be trained on what we train, Shay, can you pop up the QR code? Thank you, sir. Scan that QR code, become a member of the Get on the Ball community. We have an accountability call at the end of every month. This is the shit we train on. This is what we teach people to do.
These are the conversations that we're having, which is really significant. And somebody pointed that out to me the other day. They go, listen, when you go deep on this stuff, you're telling me stories, you're sharing stuff. It's not just typical book learning.
Right.
You know, two companies have hired me for 3 hours. Can you imagine the fire hose hours of shit, you know? And then one guy was smart enough to say, he goes, listen, you're not leaving until midday the next day. Would you do a question and answer over breakfast? I said, good for you, because there's no way everybody gets it all. It's impossible. Yep. Takes time. So let's go. I got a busy day. I got Matt DiGregorio. I'm going to have to listen to how great the Eagles are. Fly, Eagles, fly.
Have a fantastic Tuesday. Get 1% better. Let's get down to business.
Go.
Please don't worry about me. I'm about to let my heart speak. My friends keep telling me to leave this. So let's get down to business. Let's get down to business.